last night we did a bunch of cool particle stuff. In the process of doing that cool particle stuff, we either created or encountered some bugs, some mixture of that for each bug that we need to fix, and that's what I'm going to do now. We have about 90 minutes before the CSGO major starts, so that's going to be about how long this stream is, because we got to watch that. And let's review for a second what we've got going on now. We've got more human authorable particle systems. You know, this is obviously still kind of a temporary effect, but you know, it's like a multi-source particle group that gets played on demand. And we put some of these in different places. So like we have the cool teleporty effect, and if I go in the water, I've got the bubbles floating up and stuff. So that all happens. In the editor, I have this place where I can make particles systems that the game loads at startup and that it knows how to spawn and use. So that's all fine. The problem is this doesn't seem to be working correctly now. So each of these particle systems is supposed to be repeating on its own time, and it's not happening. It's like they're all going really slow, and this one isn't repeating at all, even though when I stepped into it in the debugger last night, it looked like it was repeating. Now this one is the wizard explosion, the big orange star one. So we know it's actually there and it works because the game is able to play it. It's just not repeating in the editor, and the problem is that makes it very hard to edit. So there's probably just a really dumb problem here. It's so weird because these two seem synced for me with each other, but this one seems synced with this one. And this one, I don't know what it's doing. So there's obviously some bad thing is happening. Now this one I created by copying this group, so I'm not sure why that would matter, but it might somehow. Like, what happens if I delete this group? It's still repeating on the same timing. It says particle rest time 0. If I delete this one. I don't understand. See, look at that. Okay. When I deleted this one, that one started going fast. Now that I undeleted this one, it's just not happening at all. So something strange is afoot at the Circle K. Oh, there we go. Dude, what would cause this? Okay, if I turn off the control from this group. So this is another bug, actually. If I turn off the control from this group, let's fix this one first, because this should be easier. It's not as cryptic. Like, this thing should go until all the particles expire and restart itself, because the group doesn't control particles anymore. But it's not. It's like, it just keeps resetting itself. I don't have the ability to watch those variables turned on, so You can't see that happening, but okay. So if we go here, and if I just do this, oh sorry, if I just turn off controls particles, yeah, this guy smokies endlessly, which he shouldn't be doing. We should see it completely expire before it starts up. So let's look at that. So here's where we decide if it's in a group that controls it or not. So if it's not in a group, and its lifetime is not, so a negative lifetime means this system doesn't die, it goes infinitely, in which case we don't want to think about restarting it. Oh, well, we just forgot to check that the number of particles is 0. So that's easy. It's fine though. One thing at a time, one solution at a time. Increase the morale in the system. All right, so if I turn off controls particles here, yeah. So that's what we want to see. Is it puffs until all the particles are gone, and then it goes back. Okay, so now this one, if I turn off controls particles, yeah, there we go. So something about the group particle control is causing them not to restart. But we looked and they were restarting. So maybe it's restarting it too frequently. Like I don't even know. So weird. So now what I wonder is, one thing that would cause these guys being synced is if this group somehow thought that these particles were in its group. Let's see what happens if we delete all of these. These are still synced, right? Yeah. So I feel like this group thinks, I don't think we can view the group elements here. It thinks that particle system's in its group somehow, even though I'm having trouble imagining how that would happen. So what if I delete this one? Yeah. See, if I delete that particle system, then we don't find it. And if I undelete it, can I view the elements? I should have a cheat mode in the editor. Oh, no serialize. Let's print them out. Let me just save this level as test particles, right? So then if I go to load, if I load this fresh, does it still happen? Yeah. Okay, so we'll make this load test particles for a bit until this is done. So this is the thing that's supposed to restart. Okay, so here we're going to say print. I forget what my routine is called. Is it ID string? I have something that just prints out. We'll just use this one. All right. So for each group, we're going to print just the element. And I just want to see, each group should have one element, but who knows? Okay. Why are... It looked like something else was scrolling up, but maybe that was just a temporal aliasing effect. So I only see one group being visited, which is weird. Okay. So 1023-6 is this one. Wait, why is it 1020? Oh, that's another problem. We're not supposed to be using IDs in that range, which means when I pasted it, I don't know. Okay, it's a problem. Okay. So this guy has 1652. So we're resetting that. This one should be getting visited every frame as well, but it's not. Why not? I don't know. This looks very simple. It looks, we go in the group list, we check if it controls particles. Debug build. Okay, well. Manager by type group. Two things. They're different. What's going on? Duh! That's what's going on. Nobody caught this on the stream. This is a continue, not a return. That's the entire bug. Should have known. Should have known. All right, let's go back to our full thing. So what was happening with that big particle system was it was the last guy in the array and nobody was ever getting to him because somebody else was always active. Load in-game particles. There we go. There we go. That's good. I'm worried about this 1023 situation. We're going to have to fix that. Stat. How did we get a 1023? Did that happen just by making a group? Yeah. So the problem is, this is supposed to be the gameplay range of entities, which is supposed to be free for use by the actual game to make things. And if it's not, I guess we could make things that have the same entity ID or something. It would be real bad. Let's make this particle system a little bit less terrible. We don't have gravity yet, so we'll just tweak the colors a little bit. Okay, let's check that in. Oh, we didn't even check in the last stuff from last night. Okay. Let's get rid of this test particles level that I just made. Okay. So we fix that. We fix that. We did that last night. This 1023 thing is bothering me, so let's fix that. really, I could fix it in a very tweaky way, or I could fix it in a more general way, and I think we're going to fix it in the more general way. Because it would be easy to make this mistake, and it'll keep coming back, and we don't want that. So what's going on is 1023 is user ID gameplay, and that's being invoked as a default somewhere. Probably in this file. Yes. Okay, if we're in the editor, the caller did not correctly specify a user ID. We can't use the gameplay ID since that needs to be free for the actual game. So let's get the current user ID. Let's get the ID of the user running the editor. How do I do that? I guess it's current user ID, right? Okay. So now, if I load something and I copy a guy and I say, so what happened is if you just type a name into the group ID field, it'll make a new group of that name and it put this guy in that group. It's like an editing convenience shortcut. When it makes that new group, it was ending up with the gameplay group ID. Okay, so now it's made a new group. We can see it here. Well, I would hope. Yeah, it's down there behind the wall. Okay, now it's 16, which is me. So we did solve that problem. Now, the new problem is that we have to scrub every level in the game for old groups that are broken in this way. I don't know if I want to do that right now. I've written it down as a separate item on the list. User ID. And the problem with that is it's not really going to be a lightweight operation. But so maybe it's something I want to do during the weekend when nobody's working, or maybe at night. I don't know. Okay, another problem. We're knocking these off. They're going quickly. How's chat doing? Need an overhead to-do list, Cam. Yeah, maybe so. No, Sokoban is not coming out this year, no. Okay. We had this problem with editing where we will demonstrate. Let's take that out. Okay. So if I move this group handle with the widgets here, it is the particles are going with it. Like all the group members are going with it, which is what you want. However, when I edited the position manually, which you want to do sometimes, well, I didn't move it by enough. Let's move it sideways. There we go. See, the entities didn't come with the group handle, and that's not good. Because, you know, sometimes, like if you want to make something aligned on something else, you would edit the coordinates directly. So the question is, why not? Well, so usually the way somebody changes, okay, let's talk about this one thing at a time. So if I look at one of these particles, what happens is it's got a mount position, which is where it is relative to the group handle, right? Now, if I move the group to the side, this guy's mount position has to have changed. Except no, it hasn't. Oh, like if I, oh, okay. This is a much easier bug, or I don't know about easier, but it's no data is wrong. All that happened is the mount maintenance system doesn't realize that this guy moved. So if we edit the position, we just need to say, hey, this guy moved. That's all. And I thought we have a flag for that. Okay, we have this thing called pose variable. And we just don't say that it's moved. Okay. This is kind of cumbersome, but okay, so if it's a pose variable, then before we change it, do this stuff, and then do the move, and then after we change it, do that. Now, what is check for mount update? I'm going to not, okay, wait. If I move this guy's position, okay, his mount position hasn't changed. So if I drag this group handle, he's going to snap back. Yeah. So we have to do that. This is what does that part. Unable to parse a statement? What did I do? Oh, editor? I just typed a garbage character in there somehow. All right. It's fine. Okay, so if I move the thing to the side, hey, everything went with it. If I move this guy to the side, and then I move this, whoops, that's the floor. Hey, everything stayed. Okay. This is good. Now the question is just, yeah, like here I believe there's stuff that's in some groups. No? 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 Maybe it's here? No? I just want to do some basic group editing stuff. I thought we had some groupage happening in one of these. Well, whatever. I just want to test that this is fine. All right, well, seems fine. That's the kind of thing that you got to fix. Like, some people don't fix that stuff. And then over time, because they think like, oh, it's not that important. People just work around it. I'm a lazy programmer. I'm not motivated to hunt this down. And then over time, your entire program becomes a mass of weird things like that, like Photoshop. And you don't want that. Okay. Next, let's look at why the mirror falls into the water twice, which was a weird one. So here we get the noise twice and we get our particle system twice, which is no good. Well, it's probably in this spot where it's happening, but we'll check that. Let's break in spawn particle group at. So we should only call this twice. Although, see, if we break at the head of a for loop, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. Let's just, let's assume it's from falling. Okay, so we're going to break here. 1 from start falling, update falling entity. C++. Okay. So we're going from z equals 0 to z equals -1, which is right. We're going into the water. That's all correct. So it's fine. And then really? Oh, do we call evaluate rock splash for mirrors? That could be the issue. Let's get rid of that. I don't think so. Okay, that's... Oh! Oh! Okay. This is a separate thing. This is supposed to be the mirror sinking into the ground and being gone forever after it's in the water, which doesn't seem to happen correctly, which is weird. And well, let's see what happens. That was the thing where when I added the splash particles, I just put them everywhere where the rock splash sound was being made, which in this case, okay, so that's fine. The thing is, it's not actually sinking. And that's probably because after we return from here, someone is clearing the interpolation. Well, let's see that. Let me also save, which file was it that I wasn't saving because I didn't want Visual Studio to freak out. Yeah. Oops. It's probably not syncing because there's something in the water. It's supposed to sync anyway, man. It's supposed to sync no matter what. Okay. So here, okay, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Okay. So well, at this point, we're way out in the weeds. Okay, we'll do it again. Now, when this interpolation is reset, its start time will get set to be negative. So we'll do a new data breakpoint of 20551649A80. Okay, someone's resetting the visual interpolation from stop falling. Find supported. Oh, it's coming back as supported because it's in the water and everybody's supposed to not sync more than one. Okay. So really what we should do we should stop falling here because that removes us from a falling list and stuff. And then we probably won't ever call this. Maybe. Yeah. So that might fix it right there. Maybe. Hey, it's gone. So let's, like later we're going to have an animation for that. But in the meantime, let's just make it a little bit slower. And then I guess it self-deletes or something. So we actually have to make it go further. Because it's taller than 1 square. So we kind of just see the top pop out. All right. It's a little bit weird because it's so bright. You can like see it in the water as though it were in the wrong place. See that? Like, it just shines through the water a lot. But we're going to work on the water shader and maybe... Like, when you really see it disappearing is when it goes into the ground mesh that's 1 square into the water. Oh, we could do some mirror disappear particles. Like some mud particles. Why don't we do that? Like, why is it? There we go. So let's snap all these to grid. Okay. Well, let's say particle index 0 to get our blobbies. And well, they're going to be like brown. And really not glowing. They're not supposed to be so glowing that they look yellow. And then not a lot of drag and not a lot of speed. Like, we really want gravity, but we don't have it yet. And then a lot more particles. And bigger. And more opaque. Which I guess means, since we're already at opacity 1, maybe just fade in and fade out periods that are not as much. I guess the fade in is already fast. Maybe we just need a different, maybe this particle is not. This is weird. Do we think those are completely opaque? No. Fade out period 0.3. This doesn't seem right to me. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Oh, it's the soft particle effect happening. The problem is these are getting softified a lot by being near the ground. I'm going to make a note that we want to be able to adjust that, maybe. Because, you know, we'd like the soft particle effect, but just not so broadly. Because we want to sort of make this be like muddy mud. Okay, well. So maybe we should do something fancier with multiple particle systems, but it's fine. Huh. Okay, we have a pre-delay on there, and it's drawing. It's drawing after the water, which is a thing I forgot about. So maybe we need to flag things as drawing before water or not. All right, so, whoops, I didn't want to do that. Let's take off the pre-delay on this frickin' thing. Now it was weird. Oh, we're probably drawing it. What I'm not sure about is why the soft particle didn't kick in there. Like here, you don't see the hard fade in. And it's because it's being softened by the geometry being nearby. Why hasn't this reloaded? Oh, it had. Okay, whatever, Visual Studio. You think I'm not looking just because it's not the foreground window. Jerks. So maybe I just automatically pick particle systems with z less than 0 and draw them underwater, just in case. I don't know. Are variable captures still a thing? No, they haven't been very important, so we haven't bothered with them. How often do I run into bugs with the tool I use to debug the main game? Do you mean Visual Studio? Pretty often. What was the most fun thing programming during the last couple of months? Probably yesterday's stream when we did all the particle stuff was the most fun. That was good times. Z less than 0 probably wouldn't work. You think the fog in the first level is lower than 0? Probably, but that level also doesn't have water. Like, there is fictional water on that level, but it's not this actual water plane that is relevant to gameplay. And I am not sure how we will resolve that in the long term for rendering purposes. Let's just try it real fast. Okay. Actually, before we do this, let's check in. Okay. I guess we'll pass the entity manager. So we can replace this with some kind of a flag check or something later on if we want to click it specifically on the entity. This is just, you know, the more annoying part is the structure of everything. Oh boy. Forgot about this. Let's put it in this order. Well, okay, first of all, do our particles appear? These ones do. All right. Well, I think okay, it's there. It's just like maybe it's under the mud or something. Although I don't see a mesh on this level. Maybe it's just that the ocean shader goes completely opaque at that distance. I don't know. What if we just hack this for a minute to put it way up and restart because we still don't handle changing that. Doesn't help. Maybe the ocean just wipes particles because they're not in the Z buffer. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's a thing that's going to change later on. So I'm not sure I want to fight with it right now because it has to do with aspects of the rendering system that I am not thinking about or working on. Yeah. So it appears if I put it up high enough, but if I put it, let's say I put it at like 0.95, then some particles should go above. So a lot ought to get clipped by the water, but then some would be above. Huh. Really? Oh, I guess. Oh, they're all getting maybe soft. No. I don't know. I'm going to maybe just assign that to whoever ends up doing the real water shader to work on. How do I feel about an aliasing feature for struct members that doesn't take space? You mean like in GLSL, where you can refer to the first coordinate of a vector as vec.x, vec.r, vec.u. You can already do that. You can already do that. If the compiler can't find a variable, GCC does a fuzzy string match and shows the best result in the error. Could we do something like that? Yeah, we might do that. It's not that hard to do. We've just got other priorities right now. It looked like I'm using some custom debugger. No, it's just Visual Studio. I don't know what you mean. Maybe you're looking at something else and thinking that's a custom debugger, but no, it's just the game in Visual Studio. At 095, the system is still below the water. Oh, right. Yes. Okay, right. So even though some of the particles have a Z above the water, the whole system renders below the water. Now, what I was hoping that was that the water would like Z test against the particles or something, but the particles don't write to the Z buffer. So obviously that's not going to happen. So yeah, it's no surprise why the height of this actually doesn't matter. The only thing that would matter is if I put it up high enough that the center, the origin point of the particle system itself ends up above 0.0, and then it'll render at a different time because of the thing that we just did. Okay, well, I'm going to check that in. Oops, I just closed the wrong thing because Windows is terrible. Keep closing my Twitch chat when I mean to do other things. All right, so two-phase particle rendering before and after water pass. Before water particles do not currently appear. Needs to get fixed. Let's check that we didn't break something horrible in Heroes of Sokoban 1.1. No, still looks about like it should. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Mirror projection fades in too quickly. Let's start on this level. Mirror 2. Or actually, mirror 1 is fine. So So it looks like his mirror reflection appears instantly or very close to that. There is this fade in seeming thing that happens, but I think that's mostly the dots. So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna intentionally slow it down to make sure it works. Oh, we have a variable for that. I mean, it's fast, but not that much faster. So what if I change it to 0.5, slow it down by a factor of 10? Oh, yeah. Okay. It's actually kind of cool, actually. Let's make the off rate slower. It looks different because of the glowies. All right. Well. Wait, is that really? I think the shader's broken. Oh no, what it is just the glowies make it look more solid. That's all. It's actually working. All right, well. Fine. If it's not a bug, then we're done fixing it. Okay. Well, everything else that I was going to do is a little bit serious, and we only have like 10 minutes left in the stream or less. So we might be done. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Opening ceremony is going. So I'm going to go watch some Counter-Strike. And thanks for coming by. Next stream, we will refactor, evaluate Rock Splash, and clean up that code. And maybe add some more particle features and make the particles look cooler. All right. I'll see everybody later. Enjoy talking about JavaScript and have fun.